What's going on, everybody? This is a donation request. This is for Rob. This is Dire Straits, the Brothers in Arms album. We're doing the album, Brothers in Arms. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, you want to support the channel, all kinds of ways. You can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address, and I do donation requests just like this one. So if there's something you want me to watch, listen to, talk about, maybe you're like, yo, I want you to get to this album, this track, this whatever, and you're not doing it yet, donation requests will make me do it. So hit me direct, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo in the notes section. Leave a link, leave a description, and I'll make the video. You can also email me at jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Cool. All right. So Rob emailed me and he was like, hey, do you know this album? And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I know 3 of the songs. One of them I thought was a Springsteen song. But apparently it's them. So yeah, I know 3 of the songs. And he was like, cool, I figured you would. Do the whole album. Most people don't know the whole album, or people that do know the whole, you know, all that kind of thing. So we're going to check it out. Dire Straits, I don't really, obviously I've heard of Dire Straits, right? But I don't really know their music. Okay, Sultans of Swing, which is Sultans of Swing is not on this album, but I know that track. Yeah, I know that track. I've performed that song, right? Mark Knopfler, heard of him. Did not know that he was also the lead vocalist. Didn't know that. Didn't know, I mean, I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know that they were a British band specifically. I didn't know a lot of things. So, British, formed in London, 1977, brothers, Mark and David Knopfler. Is that how you say their name? Knopfler. Active from 77 to 88 and then 90 to 95. First single, Sultans of Swing from 78 debut. Romeo and Juliet, Private Investigations, Twisting by the Pool of Money for Nothing I Know, Walk of Life I Know. Those are, Walk of Life was actually the song that I thought was Springsteen. I don't know why I thought it just kind of comes off as Springsteen to me. Did Springsteen cover it? I don't know. It comes off as Springsteen to me. But I'm from New Jersey. What do I know? I didn't grow up like a Springsteen fan. I'm not like a Springsteen, you know, not like that. But it just comes off as Springsteen to me. Anyways, their most commercially successful album, Brothers in Arms from 1985, sold more than 30 million copies worldwide. First album to sell 1 million copies on CD. Wow. 8th best-selling album in UK history. Dire Straits have spent over 1,100 weeks on the UK album charts, the 5th most to date. Wow. Guinness Book of World Records. Dire Straits drew from influences including country, folk, and blues rock of J.J. Cale and jazz. Stripped down sound contrasted with punk rock and demonstrated a roots rock influence that emerged from pub rock. Okay? So rock. There were several changes in personnel, with Mark Knopfler and Ilsley being the only members who remained with the band for its whole history. After their first breakup in 1988, Mark Knopfler told Rolling Stone, a lot of press reports were saying we were the biggest band in the world. There's not an accent then on the music. There's an accent on popularity. Ascent. I needed a rest. They disbanded permanently in 1995, after which Knopfler launched a solo career full-time. He has since declined numerous reunion offers. Dire Straits were called the biggest British rock band of the 80s. 1985-86 World Tour, which included a performance at Live Aid, set a record in Australasia. Their final world tour from 91 to 92 sold 7.1 million tickets. They won 4 Grammys, 3 Brit Awards, 2 MTV Music Awards. Inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sold between 100 and 120 million records worldwide, including 51.4 million certified units, making them one of the best-selling artists of all time. Huge. Huge. So today we're doing Brothers in Arms, and we're starting, oh yeah, this got them nominated for a bunch of things, and they won 4th. They won a Grammy, a Juno Award, a Brit Award, and then a Grammy Award again in 2006 for the 20th anniversary edition. That's interesting. So Far Away. Okay, so let's get some info on the album. 5th album, Dire Straits, Vertigo Records, internationally Warner Brothers. First album in history to sell over 1 million copies in CD format. Spent over 14 non-consecutive weeks at #1 in UK album charts. 9 weeks at #1 Billboard 200. One of the world's best-selling albums. Won a Grammy Award in 1986 for Best Engineered Album. So it's going to sound great, huh? That's cool. Best British Album, 87. Brit Awards. Grammy in 2006 for Best Surround Sound Album. It's on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest albums of all time. Recorded November 84 to February 85, Air Studios, Montserrat. Album was produced by Mark Knopfler and Neil Dorfman, who had engineered Dire Straits' 1982 album Love Over Gold and Knopfler's 1983 soundtrack album Local Hero. Brothers in Arms was one of the first albums recorded on a Sony 24-track digital tape machine. Decision to move to digital recording came from Knopfler's constant striving for better sound quality. One of the things that I totally respected about him, Dorfman observed, was his interest in technology as a means of improving his music. He was always willing to spend on high-quality equipment. Before arriving at Montserrat, Knopfler had written all the songs and rehearsed them with the band. The studio lineup was Knopfler, John Illsley on bass, Hal Lynn's guitar, Alan Clark keyboards, Terry Williams drums, new member Guy Fletcher keyboards, backing vocals. Lynn's left the band early on in the sessions and was replaced December 84 by Jack Sony, New York-based guitarist and longstanding friend of Knopfler. Studio itself was small, 20 by 25-foot recording space that offered virtually no isolation. It was a good sounding studio, Dorfman later recalled, but the main room itself was nothing to write home about. The sound of that studio was the desk. Referring to the Neve 8078 board, Knopfler and Dorfman utilized the limited space to best effect, placing the drum kit in the far left corner facing the control room, mic'd with Sennheiser MD 421s on the toms. Those are very common microphones for toms. I've owned them before. They have a sound. An Electro Voice RE20. A lot of people use those RE20s for broadcasting also, like vocal mics. AKG D12 on the kick drum, Shure SM57. AKG, it's very interesting they're running through this kind of stuff. SM57 is incredibly common. I've got several. Very cheap intro type mic, but standard, right? AKG C451 with a 20 dB decibel pad on the snare. 451s for overheads, and the hi-hat Neumann U87 set back a little to capture some kind of ambience. They placed the piano in a tight booth in the far right corner of the studio, mic'd with AKG C414s. Those are also very common microphones. Hammond B3 was placed nearby with its Leslie speaker crammed into an airlock next to the control room. Illsley's bass amplifier was recorded inside a small vocal booth with a Neumann FET 47 and a DI unit. Knopfler's amplifiers were mic'd with 57s, 451s, and Neumann U67s. That's pretty common to multi-microphone a guitar amp, especially, you know, it's your band, you're the guitar player, and I mean, I know Sultans of Swing, and I've played it a zillion times, and that guitar solo, right? Obviously, guitar player type of thing, right? Fletcher's synths were placed in the control room. During the recording for Money for Nothing, the signature sound of Knopfler's guitar may have been enhanced by a happy accident of microphone placement. Knopfler was using his Gibson Les Paul going through a Laney amplifier while setting up the guitar amp microphones in an effort to get the ZZ Top sound, that Knopfler sought. Guitar tech Ron Eve, who was in the control room, heard the amazing sound before Dorfman was finished arranging the microphones. One mic was pointing down at the floor. Dorfman remembered another was not quite on the speaker, another was somewhere else. Now, it wasn't how I would want to set things up. It was probably just left from the night before when I'd been preparing things for the next day and had not really finished the setup. What they heard was exactly what ended up on the record. No additional processing or effects were used during the mix. Okay, so this is actually kind of a cool thing. So, you know, when I was self-studying, producing and engineering and recording, right? This is something that I studied myself, right? After college, I had a bunch of songs and no way of recording them, and, you know, you need money and all that kind of thing. I was like, I'm just going to get the gear myself and teach myself. So I took the time that I used to spend hours and hours and hours practicing bass and practiced Pro Tools, basically, recording, and reading and all that kind of thing. And I remember reading the difference between recording in Europe versus recording in America. And them talking about in America, it's just, and it may not be this way now, but you know, back then, I forget, I want to say it was in the Behind the Glass books, but it could have been from some other books. Behind the Glass, that book series is just big interviews with big producers and engineers behind the glass, right? That kind of thing in the studio people. In America, they're just getting a clean sound and they're gonna work on the sound and processing basically after it's recorded. But in Europe, and for some reason I remember it was like David Bowie, the David Bowie section. Who was the guy? His name is slipping. Bowie producer. I'm gonna know who. I'm gonna be like, of course. What is wrong with me? I know this guy. Tony Visconti. Tony Visconti. I feel like it was in his section he was talking about it. But how they would work to get the sound that they wanted for the album, they would work to get it before recording. Having to do with things like this, mic placement, just recording the sound that they wanted first, not just recording the performance and then working on the sound after it's already recorded, right? That difference. That's what this is reminding me of. Is like because then it's less work afterwards. It's like, okay, do you want more work beforehand or more work after? Once it's recorded, it's over, right? Especially if you get the performance that you want. That's kind of really important. That's more important. That's getting the performance is almost more important than getting the sound. You know, like the performance, if you get an electric performance, that's everything. That's everything. That's what you're going for, right? That performance that hits you. So anyways, I always thought that was very interesting and thought that was, you know, just those two different philosophies. Anyway, sorry. That's a little aside right there. According to Sound on Sound magazine interview with Neil Dorsman, during the first month of the recording sessions at Montserrat, and the performance of Terry Williams was considered to be unsuitable for the desired sound of the album. According to Williams himself, he had recorded all his drum parts to a click track, which he felt hindered his ability to channel the rhythmic feel he wanted. He's not great at playing a click track, huh? About 6 weeks into the sessions, after listening to a playback of what had been recorded so far, he voiced his disappointment to Knopfler over some of his playing. Shortly after this, he was dismissed from the sessions. Damn. It's almost like he shot himself in the foot or something. Who knows? Anyways. Eek. Dorsman and Knopfler made the decision to erase Williams' contributions. Was replaced by Omar Hakim. You can't go wrong. Who re-recorded all the album's drum parts during a 2-day stay before leaving for other commitments. Yeah, and he probably nailed it because he's a pro. I mean, this is where jazz musicians and, you know, just those like super high level guys, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Come in, nail it, done. Re-record all the, 2-day, all the drumming on the final album was performed by Hakim with the exception of the improvised crescendo at the beginning of Money for Nothing. In another interview, Dorsman has said that Williams, fills, and toms were also used in the rest of Money for Nothing. Both Hakim and Williams are credited on the album. A defective batch of recording tape at Air Studios resulted in the loss of part or all of 3 album tracks, leading to follow-up sessions being recorded at Power Station in New York. Wow, that's terrible. During this time, overdubs were recorded with New York musicians Michael and Randy Brecker, Mike Manieri, Jimmy Malin, Dave Plews, Malcolm Duncan. When Illsley broke both elbows after a fall while jogging in Central Park. Jesus. Several prominent New York studio bass players were hired to record or re-record several bass lines on the record. Tony Levin, Why Worry, Saturday Night, Neil Jason. These are all heavy hitters. Was brought in for a week's work, which includes takes on So Far Away, Walk of Life, right? So, like, this is basically just like session guys, jeez. Jason sessions were the slap style funk. The only fully confirmed released results from the Jason sessions with a slap-style funk bass line on One World and slides on my fretless, almost like the Syndrome effect on Money for Nothing. Okay. Wow. Wild. Okay. That's it for that. I'm just going to get to the song, the first song, which is So Far Away, which I had heard before. And when I heard this, and when I was talking with Rob about this, when I put on So Far Away just to see if I knew it, because he asked, hey, do you know, like, what do you know off of this? Because I know he figured I knew some of it. This song, I think I learned for a wedding or a private event or something. I think I learned it for a private event. So I didn't really listen to it a lot. It's not like, okay, yeah, I've heard Money for Nothing or Walk of Life, or Sultans of Swing is by far the song that I know the best. I used to perform it regularly, right? So anyways, we're doing So Far Away, which again, I think I learned for one gig once. And that's what we're starting with. So here we go. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. Let's do it. Bam. I mean, the sound quality is pretty pristine. It's almost like almost kind of reminds me of Paul Simon type sounds, like album recording. Very hi-fi.
Here I am again in this mean old town, and you're so far away from me. And where are you when the sun goes down? You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. So far I just can't see. You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. Alright. I'm tired of being in love and being all alone when you're so far away from me.
Kind of Dylan.
I'm tired of making out on the telephone.
Right? Just delivery of that vocal.
So far away from me. You're so far away from me. You're so far I just can't see. You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me.
So much highs. To me, this record is like all the highs. There's not a ton of low. Really. The kick is the lowest, and it's not even like there's no sub. It's very like, just like poofy. Does that make sense?
And I get so tired when I have to explain. And you're so far away from me. See, you've been in the sun and I've been in the rain. And you're so far away from me. You're so far away from
But
me.
it sounds great.
So far,
Like you hear
I just
everything.
can't
It's super
see.
clear.
You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. Take it out. So far away from me. You're so far
It does. The snare really slaps. It's just very, everything just is shiny, just that high end.
It's so far away from me.
Yeah. Musically, it's very simple, right? 5-4-1, right? Yeah, musically, it's very simple, but the thing here that is just glaringly obvious, just from the very beginning when it comes in, is just the sound quality is really fantastic. Like, this sounds like a hi-fi record. It does. It sounds pristine, which is nice, and it makes it enjoyable, right? That's gotta be among the reasons why it's so popular. The song is fine. The song's fine. The performance is fine, right? It's nice. This is not some like incredible technical thing. It's just like, okay, this is just a nice song. It's not very, there's nothing that's jarring about it. It's very, in that way, like, calm, peaceful, just like, you know what I mean? Like, the words, probably the better words for it aren't coming to me right now, but you know what I'm saying, is that it's like you could just put it on, and it's not intrusive at all. It's nice. It's nice. And I think that's because it's just, the recording is just so great. I mean, obviously there's nothing musically in there that's jarring or whatever, that would create that type of tension, but the recording is just so well done, really. And again, it's like, to me, I'm hearing just a lot of the high-end stuff, the highs and the high mids. There's not a ton of low-end content, like, at all. It's pretty much all in the drums. The bass is very high mid. It's practically the guitar. The kick and the toms are what's living lowest in the low end. It's like when he hits it, that's what you feel, right? It's like you're not feeling the bass. You're just hearing it. It's just there. Only thing you're feeling on this entire thing is the kick, but it's like, and the toms, but it's very subtle. It's very light. It doesn't hit you. There's no pound there. It's like a pillow. It's just kind of like, it's like the kick is like a feather on a pillow. It's like a little poof, poof, poof. But it works. It's there, and it works. Just all of it, it works. It works. So in that way, it's really nice. In that type of way. Yeah, it is. It's really nice. This is more about like just the overall vibe and the mood of it. So yeah, very cool. I'm interested in the album just for the sound quality already. I'm just like, all right, that's pretty clear. That's like glaringly clear. Anyways, all right, up next is Money for Nothing, which, has that famous guitar break. It's been a while since I've heard it. When I mentioned in the email, I was like, yeah, Money for Nothing, that was MTV. I know that song, because MTV. All right. I'll catch you in the next video. Later.